Hello, everybody. Terri Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer, coming to you live from Hollywood, California. If you've never ever peeked in on a Terri Hardin live on Fridays, this is Ask Me Anything Friday, and I usually start with a little subject. Today it's going to be pumpkins because Halloween is coming. Woo! And it's my favorite. It's one of my it's my favorite holiday next to my birthday. Okay, but your birthday's all about you and mine's all about me. So I like Halloween because it's all about everybody and it's orange and black and scary and fun and kids and it's just the best ever. And I will be talking about that. But Ask Me Anything Friday. You post your questions in the comment section, and I will happily answer them. Today, I'm going to be showing a couple of Ask Me Anythings ago. I was asked to show my Norman Rockwell book. I have a collector's edition of Norman Rockwell paintings in a book, and I said it was behind my mermaid tail. I couldn't get to it. Well, I took the time and got behind the mermaid tail and got that book out. So I'll be able to show you. But first, we're going to talk pumpkins. Yes, we are. Pumpkins. So I, Terri Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer, will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, in October, the end of October, providing that the pandemic doesn't mess with us. But here's what's going on with that. We are going to be at a location 5 miles away from Disneyland, outdoors, and we're going to social distance. So whether you have to wear a mask or not will be determined in October, but we will get to sculpt the pumpkins unless they, put the hammer down and lock us down and don't let us travel. We are going to have this class. Okay. So the first thing you want to do to go to my class is to go to my website, terrihardin.com. This is the way it looks. And you're going to tap on the event. We're going to tap on the event calendar, which is in the white bar. You see how that pulls down? You have the opportunity to learn about the pumpkin sculpting classes. And then if you want to see some of the photos from my judging experiences on the Food Network. I am a judge for Outrageous Pumpkin Competition and have been since 2005. So you can see stuff there if you just want to. You feel free to look around if you want. But anyway, you tap pumpkin sculpting classes and it's going to take you to this page. Here you can see that this was where I was in Ventura. That pumpkin patch has since disappeared. Not as a result from COVID, but my dear friend David McGrath retired and got a beautiful spread, beautiful home up in Washington in the mountains, and he's a very happy camper. So he closed this. It's a real shame. We've been there, I think, 15 years, 10, 15 years. We were there a long time. And many of you came out. But you can see the size of this pumpkin. I've just done like a mummy holding a skull. And in the background here, you can see that one of our sculptors back there is working on a Jack Skellington. And this is my friend, Doug Marsh. He might be at the class. If there's 30 people, I think I'm going to bring him in because a lot of people like to do lettering. And Doug is an amazing artist. But when it comes to doing lettering, like we had someone do a wedding pumpkin. They came up and commissioned. This is a public venue. We're going to be at a private venue for this class. But people would come up and order pumpkins from us and buy them. And we had to do a wedding pumpkin. And it had to say, congratulations or just married and the names. And I gave that to Doug because he just nails it. But on the bottom here, you will then find out that I have 2 classes. One is a virtual class and the cost is $40 and it's going to be on Zoom. The other class is live 5 miles from Disneyland. It's going to be $75 and it includes your pumpkin. So the live class includes the pumpkin, which I will choose some cool pumpkins, hope, hope, hope. And I will choose some. And I just realized I got to call this guy. Oh, so much to do. But cool pumpkins, and then explain to you they will be there at the location and you can pick. So we're going to have a little mixer at 9 where you can choose your pumpkin and visit with people, get a little foods, and then start sculpting at 10. And then I'm there till God turns the lights out. So I'm actually there all day. The class takes about 3 hours. If you were going to go fast, slow, if you're the slowest sculptor in the world in a pumpkin, it takes you 2 to 3 hours. But many people like to noodle, like to talk, like to chat, like to kick back and relax. So I always stay till just about dark, actually. And the reason I do that is because some like to stay and just visit and chat, and others want to see what it looks like when you put a light inside. And so that's the important thing. And here are some examples of some of the pumpkins. So you can see that there's the little dog pumpkin, and, I suggest you make a face. There's some movies, which I won't play because there's no sound. But you can kind of decide. Here's Linda Rolls, one of my alumni, and she is standing next to Doug. And you can see how Doug, you can't really read the lettering above, but he's done a stack of pumpkins. She's done a Jack Skellington. Here I am with some super giant pumpkins that I sculpted. And then this kind of weird, crazy character. All of this teaches you these are all my students, and they're doing really cool things. You see what I mean? So you guys, this is what the live class is. And you guys really want to be a part of it. You really want to be a part of it. But it used to be that this class was a little bit less, but I'm going with a new pumpkin supplier. So I have to see, the reason it is $75 is simply that I got to make sure I got enough supplies, and hopefully for all of you to do it and to comfortably have a good time. And then I'll be flitting like a flea all around you to live help you with it. So I highly encourage you, $75 pumpkin sculpting class, super, super fun. I'm going to teach you all kinds of fun techniques about doing pumpkin sculpting. One of the things that let me just see if I have one titled Pumpkins here. I thought I did. Yes, I do. Here we go. Look. Yeah, here we go. So I'll show you some techniques and some styles and some ideas about how you can do it and what you can do. And then I'm going to try and get you a good sized pumpkin, something maybe you're not used to sculpting. So I hope that you will join us and sculpt. Here's what a class looks like. These people are all sculpting the pumpkins and having a good time here. This is, again, at my pumpkin patch. This is Cameron. Cameron does tikis. Cameron's been with me since he was 9 years old, and now he's in his 20s. And this is a first-time pumpkin. Okay, so basically, the first time you do it and you light it, it's amazing. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of sculpting. And then you have me in your ear for a whole day. A great deal for $75. Okay. So again, you go to terrihardin.com, click on event schedule, and you'll find me there. Okay. So that's what I usually open up with, and then ask me anything. Okay. So, for many of you, you're not going to be thrilled. I shouldn't put that on you. That's not very nice to say that to you. You might be thrilled, but I do have to say that, you're not going to be thrilled. I have to give some announcements, and one of the announcements is that Toonfest in Marceline, Walt Disney's, where Walt Disney grew up, has been postponed till 2022. The word came out to all of the artists, myself included as one of the artists, that they were going to have to postpone it. So this just proves to me even stronger, this pandemic is not going away and we can't take it lightly. Pays to shake that puppy, huh? We can't take it lightly because Honestly, it's not going away. So I think um, those of you who don't want to get a vaccine should really consider it, because the CDC keeps changing what the dangers are. As they learn, the dangers get more and more. One of the things I've always done is when I'm around people, I wear a mask because I don't know whether or not you're vaccinated, and I don't want to be a carrier. Now, before they said we weren't carriers if we were vaccinated, and now just today on the news, they warned that we can be. And that is the one thing I don't want to be, is responsible for you getting sick if you've chosen not to get the vaccine. I highly recommend that you do get the vaccine. I don't understand, most honestly, I don't understand why you wouldn't, but don't feel like you have to explain it to me. You don't. I don't understand because I'm about vaccines. You may not understand because you're not about vaccines, but I want to encourage you to go to someone you respect and make sure that you're standing on no vaccine is really a solid ground you want to stand on. I think that's the best way I can say it. Not too long ago, a very dear friend of mine who has chosen not to get the vaccine told me the reason that they weren't were for medical reasons. And when they explained to me in detail, and I really appreciate this person for taking the time to break it down for me. Okay. And I think one of the reasons is because I approached them with love. You know, it wasn't like, what's the matter with you? This never makes anybody feel good. You know, your decision is your decision, and you are a human being and you have a right to that decision. But I want you also to understand that if I'm vaccinated and I'm wearing a mask, I have a right to do that too. Okay. Approach each other with love, be about the other person. All right. Because that's why I'm wearing a mask. I find out that I could be a carrier and not affected, excuse me, because I've been vaccinated. Last thing I want to be is responsible for giving it to you if you've chosen not to be vaccinated. Yeah. So, so he explained to me that he has a condition that hasn't really been addressed by doctors or the CDC publicly that he could find. And so he's concerned about getting the vaccine when he cannot find any data that will tell how it will affect his condition. And that made sense to me. Is he just sitting on the couch, having a coffee, saying, no, I'm not going to do it? No, he's doing strong research. He's going to his doctor and he's saying, is there anything, any assurances? Is there any way that I can be sure that this vaccine is not going to be a danger to me because of my present medical situation? And I know that your medical records are private, but hey, if someone really has a question, I think we've got, as human beings, we've got to remember that when a person asks a question, they're curious, not judgmental. Ted Lasso. Curious, not judgmental. Walt Whitman, right, Ted? Anyway, the point is, when you're curious, you ask questions. And a person shouldn't get offended because you ask questions, right? So in this case, I'm on social media. I'm live every Mondays and Fridays. So they have one thing they continue to say is continue to get the word out. Say your position, get the word out, encourage people. I encourage you to get the vaccine because I think you're going to be safer with it. This is what I've got it, and it takes a load of stress off of me. But you may not be me, so please just don't take advice from political people. Don't take advice from these strange flat earth people, hollow earth people. Don't take it from there. Find some legitimate documentation, medical, that you need, or speak with your doctor, a trained professional, to get the answers you need. That's my recommendation. Okay. Now you could look at me in a nut and say, I don't want to listen to her either. That's that's up to you. But as a person who has a platform and a person who's on social media. I am not a YouTube's rock star by any means. Look at my followers. But no, it's not that. They're quality though. They're high. You all out there. I may not have the big numbers, but I have the choice number, USDA choice number. So I thank you for following me. And please do if you are a member of the elite. But in any case, I wanted to point that out because I feel obligated. I feel like I should. Every time I come on camera, I think I should talk about that. TuneFest is being not canceled, postponed because they want to keep people safe. And they spoke with all the artists, myself being one. They asked us to weigh in, and none of us were going to be, you better have it or there'll be heck to pay. Nah, that's not what we want everybody safe. And I don't think there's anyone out there who is purposely saying they don't want people safe. Now, that being said, I've heard a couple of incidents where people have been tested positive for COVID, and because they want to do something fun or they don't want to miss something exciting, they try to sneak through anyway. Please don't do that. If you have COVID or you find out you have COVID, I have to urge you, even if you're going to meet the Queen of England, this is not the time to meet the Queen of England is with COVID-19. Okay. Just let the Queen know if you're in England and you're due to be knighted or anything and you've got COVID, let her know. And I know that the Queen is a good person, so she will make it another date. She will be so grateful to you that you didn't come with COVID. Okay. Now that's an extreme situation. Let's say it's a birthday party from someone you haven't seen in 3 years and you got to go. But if you've got just positive for COVID, you've got to think of them. And I find it really surprising that people have tried to sneak through. Not everyone who has COVID tries to sneak through, because here's the thing about COVID-19 that is so weird. Many of you can have it and not have any symptoms. So you're not even being a villain. You don't even know until you're tested, and then you're like, what? But once you find out, you got to do your due diligence and isolate, okay? I've heard a couple people who knew and they tried to go anyway. Don't do that. And when you discover it, just everybody's going to be with you if you have to change your plans until you get better, right? So that's why TuneFest is doing what they're doing. The Disneyana Fan Club is another one. They're actually earlier in September, and I'm hoping that they too will consider what they're going to do, because I'd hate for us to have everything all fabulously done, waiting to receive all of you, and you don't come because you're concerned about the spread of the virus. And so there we sit, twiddling our thumbs, nothing. All right. Okay, I have done enough. Let's get to your questions. It's not fair of me to keep you waiting and get you in on it. Okay? All righty. Jacob Gardner says, I was watching Dinosaurs TV show on Disney Plus, the talking coat episode. How did you do the puppet on the coat? While it was sitting, the dinosaur body looked pretty impossible to do. That's not coming forward, but usually there is, can you tell me? I'd have to see that talking coat episode, but I think it was laying on something, and then the puppeteer was hidden like in a piece around there. We also come up from the floor. So the floor of the dinosaur set is 4 feet off the ground. This is what a puppeteer calls ideal for doing puppets. Not everyone is willing to build the set 4 feet up. But thank goodness Disney, Jim Henson, and Michael Jacobs Productions were all about that, because it made our life so much simpler. And then that floor had, I think it was 3 by 3 foot sections, if I remember correctly, that popped out. So you could pop those out and put us around. So do you remember the When Food Goes Bad sequence where you've got Charlene surrounded by the crazy, insane food that's kind of dancing around them, like from, Fantasia when Chernobog and all the demons are running around. It's kind of like that. Well, we had Misha Sisti as Charlene Sinclair. Charlene is in the middle. She's on a piece of floor, 4 foot up in the air, 4x4 or 3x3, whatever it was. And the rest around them is open, and we did the puppets around around them. So you can almost bet that coat had a popped floor, and they were coming up from underneath. So and then it's, dressed, of course. But that's a fun one too. I'm trying to remember who performed the coat. It wasn't me. Because when you have Baby Sinclair in most scenes, that was what I did mostly, was Baby. And I'm not complaining. I love doing Baby Sinclair. Great question, Joseph. What was it like working with Whoopi Goldberg? Amazing! I've done 3 films with Whoopi Goldberg, and the first film that I did with Whoopi was T-Rex. Now, many of you might be saying, excuse me, what? What? It was about dinosaur police. And if you guys Google Joe Bob Briggs, you know Joe Bob Briggs? Did you ever see Joe Bob Briggs drive-in theater? Anyway, if you Google, you go to YouTube and you put in Joe Bob Briggs T-Rex or Joe Bob Briggs Theater Rex, it's hilarious. It's just his comments, because they can't show most of the movie because of intellectual property. It's his comments about a movie that is so terrible. He just can't believe it, that it's rated for kids and some of the stuff that goes on. But this movie, Theater Rex, was about dinosaur police and them getting with humans to investigate a dinosaur murder. And the human is Whoopi Goldberg. And this is where she and I first were introduced to each other. And I met her in kind of a weird way. The producers were a bit aggressive with the puppeteers I came late to the project. And when they brought me in, the producer kind of attacked me, or it felt like it. She came at me kind of saying, you're going to do this, you will do this, you will behave like blah, 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 blah. And Whoopi stepped forward and said, leave her alone. What are you doing? She just got here. Back off. So that's the first time I met her. And of course, you're going to fall in love with anyone who comes to your aid, right? And then she said, if you have any challenges, you just come to me. And we did this movie. Now, Whoopi had agreed to do this movie, and they took it around to sell it with Whoopi attached. And then Whoopi sort of read the script and went, ooh. She had just done, as I understand it, she had done Sister Act, and just, everybody, Whoopi, wow, I'm surprised that people think it was Sister Act that made Whoopi wow, because I think Whoopi wow happened when she was on stage in New York and she did her one-woman show, and it was amazing. I went to the second showing of it because I was in New York shooting another puppet thing. And the director of that show took us to see Whoopi, and I'll never forget it. She touched my heart because being Black or mixed, in her case, she's a Black woman and I'm a mixed girl, but we both have the same hair. So one of the things that she does in her show is she takes a shirt and she buttons it onto her head, and she goes, look at my beautiful, lovely long hair. Because most of us as kids, our hair, if we have black hair, a Black person's hair, it goes up, or as you know, makes a nice afro. But when you're a kid and you're our age, I can't speak for Whoopi's age, but I'm 64, and you just saw all of these commercials of these white women with this flowy hair, and it would just flow, and you'd see white people get in the water and get out of the water, and it was the same dry as it is wet. And the only times ours really flowed was in the water, or when it dried, it just went up like that. So I did the same thing. I buttoned a shirt across my head and pretended I had long and flowy, beautiful long hair. And Whoopi does this bit in her stand-up show, and it wasn't like a stand-up comedy show. It was a one-woman show about her life growing up as a young Black woman about the same time that I grew up as a young mixed woman. So there were a lot of ties that bound us right from the beginning. Later, when I did this movie and we got to sit and chat, we talked about what it was like to be a woman of color, me very light skinned in some cases. If I had been on the East Coast, people would have said I was a light skinned Black, as opposed to whatever other label they wanted to put on me here in the West Coast. That was what it was. And she would be a medium Black and then the dark Black colors if you want. But the bottom line is that back East during the time I was growing up, if you had a drop of Black blood in you, you were, a drop of Black at all in you, you were all Black, weird thoughts, weird concepts, right, in the head back then. But that brought us together. And she was just this amazing person, funny, sweet, and very, very giving. And one of the things that she noticed when we were shooting T-Rex, and I played a lounge singer, Molly Rex, I did her animatronic head movements while I had my friend Tony inside. Tony Prince was inside doing the beautiful Molly. And then you remember, maybe you don't, from Dinosaurs, he was Franny. So anyway, Whoopi was concerned because people were bringing their kids and people were bringing their families to set and asking her for a picture. We also had some amazing actors on there too. We had Martin Lando's daughter. She played a major role in the movie. We had just tons. Not off the top of my head with T-Rex, but ton. You watch the movie. Don't pay more than $1 for it, please. It really is not a great movie, and it's not Whoopi's fault. But it was a crazy, weird experience. It was a weird movie. And but people would bring their things, and she would say to me, Terri, why don't you bring your family? And I said, oh, my mom would be sitting in your lap, and my dad would be in New York because he doesn't want to get in the way. So she called my father on the phone. She said, give me your phone. And back then it was a flip phone. And she called my father and she said, this is Whoopi Goldberg. I need you to come to set. I'm going to send a car for you because you need to see your daughter's work. It's important that someone who's such an icon in her life, and she was talking to my father, needs to. So she sent her car to pick up my father when we were shooting in Griffith Park. They went out and they brought my dad, and then she put my dad in her director's chair and she stood next to him and explained what we were doing. And I'll be forever grateful to her. And so will my father. So just and smart. Whoopi Goldberg, I think you guys have noticed if you've watched The View, just how super intelligent this woman is. I feel the same way about Billy Crystal. Two people who are really smart. And they come up with not only interesting views and somehow in a funny way, often in a funny way, but really intelligent, make you think. You go, huh. And I like comedians that are like that, who give me a giggle and then I got to think about what I just laughed at. And I've noticed that with Whoopi. I think Robin Williams had it too, and Billy Crystal. So these three who know and love each other very much, and of course we've lost Robin, but anyway, so intelligent, so smart. And I remember we were having like a break, and she was saying, I met a friend of hers from high school who was visiting the set. I was like, wow, Whoopi. And she says, you always keep in touch with the friends that you knew before you became that celebrity person, because they keep you grounded, and hopefully your parents will too. So I've always taken that to heart, that, you listen to the people who have your back before you have a huge celebrity status, because they're going to keep you grounded. And my father has always been my rock as far as that's concerned. And my mother, especially since she's softened a bit. She has a nice philosophy too. She has a nice outlook. If I'm upset or I'm sad about something or someone has said something, they always come up with, why you should not sweat the small stuff, basically my parents. So this is a good question. Thank you for asking, Jacob. It took me down memory lane. Jacob also asked, if you could only choose just one thing to do in your life, whether it be puppetry, art, or sculpting, which would you choose and why? It would be performing. I love performing. I love performing puppets. I love performing as an actress and a mime. I love to be on stage performing. Speaking helps me to do that because I act out a lot of what I'm talking about. So I'll talk about how Bill Murray picks up one arm and Dan Aykroyd picked up the other arm and my feet are kicking, you see. So this is a venue that I love because I can perform a little bit to you. I'm really grateful, thankful that I am blessed with the ability to do all of them. Because here's the thing about a Swiss Army knife personality. If this, when I was growing up, people said, specialize in one thing. But when I was in the 8th grade, I met an amazing woman named Deborah Livingston. She was my 8th grade drama teacher. She saw me one day alone. I often do this. I think that, I knew I was really good alone. I don't necessarily need people to entertain me. So you hear about people who retire and then they pass away because they don't know what to do with themselves. Not going to be my problem. I have so much to do. Stacks of ideas. I've had it since I was 3 years old. But I was alone sitting at my desk at my school, Sun Valley Junior High School. And my drama teacher walked up and she saw that I was designing a set for theater. She said, whoa. And she said, what else you do? And I said, oh, I sculpt, these are sculpted and these are cut and da, 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 da. And she said, Terri, you really are ahead of the curve because there's a saying, a jack of all trades, master of none. But she said, the key is to be jack of all trades, master of all. Because everybody loves a Swiss Army knife. Everybody loves the fact that it does a multitude of things. And so everybody loves a bargain. And I took that to heart. And that's what my goals were as I moved forward as a performer, a sculptor, a builder, an artist. Because there were times when someone would interview me. In the case of Ghostbusters, for example, I was hired to do the temple dog that Sigourney Weaver played in the refrigerator and in the doorway, were my main areas. And then they said, what? You build? And they brought me in. That was my friend Billy. Billy brought me in with a team to build the Marshmallow Man. And then later puppeteer the Marshmallow Man. You see, a package, a Swiss Army knife. So I'm grateful that I'm a Swiss Army knife because someone can hire me and you get several people all in one little package. And even if I'm a little more expensive to hire, it costs a little more to hire, I'm still a heck of a deal instead of hiring 5 or 10 people. Remember that. Still works today. Still works today. They love it if you sculpt and you can do it A to Z. Or people who can do it A to Z, but you can do it A to Z. I don't do my own molds. I could, but I don't. I have a mold maker who that's what he does, and he does a great job. So I can just sculpt, which is my favorite thing. But if someone wanted me to do a puppet, I can do the sketches to show them, the concept, the prototype, the finished piece, sew it, puppeteer it, make sure it works, create animation in it, A to Z, one Swiss Army knife. So I'm really grateful to do that. But performing has always been my favorite. When I was a little girl, 6 years old, I was in the chorus, and they had a lead singer, a girl with a beautiful voice. But when she got on stage and she started to sing, you have, if you've ever been on stage, you got to hit the back of the room, right? You got to hit the back of the room. And she was singing Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Santa Claus is coming to town. I mean, you can barely hear me here. He's making a list, checking it. And they go, no, louder. You got to be out there. And she'd go, Santa Claus is coming. She was scared to death to be on stage. They tried several children, and most of them were just terrified. I mean, we're 6 years old. There's 250 people in our little auditorium at Camellia Avenue School. And so they went to the playground, true story, and they waited to hear the loudest mouth. Who do you think that was? I can give you a hint. I shouted from one corner of the playground over to my dear friend Sherry, and at the top of my lungs, and they all went, what? And they approached me and they said, aren't you in the choir? And I said, yeah. And they said, do you think you could sing Santa Claus is Coming to Town? And I said, yeah. So at 6 years old, I stood on the stage and they said, look, we're going to have the choir back you up so it's not a solo. But they soon stopped that because I drowned everybody else out. He's making a list, checking it twice, to the back of the room and out the door, and annoying the people whose houses were across the street from the school. My husband says, your voice carries, and it does. If I need to be heard, I'm heard. So I fell in love with performing at 6 years old and thought it was great. And then in the 6th grade, we did The Wizard of Oz, and my mother wanted to make me the Tin Man because she had this whole idea of using cans to make my costume. And I was like, meh, I want to be the lion. I want to be the Cowardly Lion. And I was like, no, be the Tin Man. And I'm like, no, I want to be the lion. So the teacher told us when we auditioned that we should, when we auditioned for the lion or for the characters, that we should really pick an alternative character. So I picked Glinda the Good Witch, even though I wanted nothing to do. No offense, Glinda. I wanted nothing to do with Glinda the Good Witch. I wanted the Cowardly Lion. And when I auditioned, I did this. I did bite him and got the part. So that means I just love it. And this is why I'm a puppeteer now. I do voices as well. And the nice thing about being a Swiss Army knife is if one thing dries up for a while, I haven't done a lot of film and TV lately, but I've done a lot of sculpting. Film and TV could come back. I've done voiceover. I've done designing. I've designed rides and attractions for Disneyland. I've done, so when one thing kind of levels out and you don't have work in that area, if you're a Swiss Army knife, you put away the scissors and you pull out the pick. So how does that help you? That helps you by thinking about what is it you love, and then be a Swiss Army knife. And because everyone still, even today, even more so today, loves a bargain. And honestly, if I wasn't 64 years old, I might delve deeper into digital sculpting, but I'm not a fan of it. It's alien to me. And I'm someone who doesn't necessarily have to do it. So I'm leaving that on someone else's platform to do. But I've gotten into digital illustration and I'm loving it. So I am not saying no to new technology when it comes to drawing, comes to art. But I am drawing the line in some cases. Sculpting just doesn't. It's the tactile feeling that I like when I'm sculpting. I like to pull out the clay, smell the clay, work the clay, all of that. And when drawing, I like lead pencils too. But it doesn't mean that I am completely against digital drawing on the iPad. I'm starting to do that, and I like that too. It has a multitude of interesting experiences. So there are some new things that I'm picking up and some things that I'm leaving on the table. And I use the excuse that I'm 64 and just too old to want to do it. You know, I'm young enough to pick up some of it, but I'm too old to really delve into that. You know, you see, you can play both sides of the coin. And that's probably the performer in me. It's all about a good story. I hope that helps. Thank you, Jacob, for asking that question. You're full of questions today. I love you, Jacob. Halloween countdown, 72 days to October 31st, or 2 months until Halloween. I know. Tick, 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 tick. And I'm so excited for doing the live class because last year I had to do it virtual. And the problem with virtual is you're going to have to buy your own pumpkin, which makes me nervous. I'm going to give you some suggestions on what pumpkins to buy. And then you're going to either have to invest in my tool set that I offer on my store, or I'm going to tell you where you can go and get those same tools at an art store if you have an art store near you. And you can kind of weigh the prices. You can go look at those tools, see how much they cost. And if they're more, come back and buy my set. But I don't want to force you to buy my set unless it's easier. You know, you throw in the class and you throw in the set next to it and you have everything you need. But I'm not going to push you because I don't, you know, your budget is your budget and you decide. You know, I'm good. But I remember last year during the pandemic, I did a virtual class and I had a lovely couple who had not gotten the tools and had gotten a different type of pumpkin. And so when they needed to carve it like I do, they were at a loss of how to do this with what they had. So we grabbed melon ballers. Yeah, we went through their kitchen. They took their computer and I said, oh, there's a melon baller. Ooh, there's a peeler. A carrot peeler. There's a serrated knife. There's a grate to grate the cheese. There's that. And we were grabbing everything. There's a fork. That fork looks cool. And they were sculpting their pumpkins using utensils they found around the house. It worked really well. And they had a really good time because we're all giggling and carrying on as everyone on the Zoom call is helping them to figure out how they're going to sculpt a pumpkin without the tools that I teach you to use. So the virtual class is always fun. One of my attendees, which I've got to, when I get off here, I'm going to, shout over and share with him, that there's another class and he can do it virtually again. But he was in he was below freezing weather and he was sculpting a frozen pumpkin. And bless his heart, he just persevered. He didn't quit and he kept doing it. But poor little guy, he had a thing on, he was freezing. And I'm here and it's cool weather, but it's not freezing weather. So everybody comes. So I highly urge you to take the virtual class or go and take the live class if you are anywhere near Anaheim, California. You can make a day of it because it's Saturday the 30th. Halloween is Sunday. We're going to show you how to take care of your pumpkin so you have it for your porch. And then if you want to go to downtown Disney on Saturday night, or you want to go to Disneyland on a Friday and then swoop into my class afterwards, make it a day, for yourself if you want to. That's one of the things that's nice about being in Anaheim is you all love Disneyland so much. So thank you for that countdown, Jacob. What's my favorite Disneyland film of all time? Well, that's tough. But I have to say Bambi. I love Bambi. I'm obsessed with the original Bambi. I'd have to say that was my favorite film. And then there's Fantasia, which I've seen over 45 times. Before DVDs and VHS came out, I saw it in the theater 45 times. And then non-Disney is 10 Commandments. Moses. I love Charlton Heston's 10 Commandments. Yul Brynner and Charlton Heston. So Bambi, the reason I like Bambi, because that was your question. What's your favorite Disney film, Terri? Is Bambi. And one of the reasons is because it shows Walt's point of view as a filmmaker. A lot of people today try too hard to be PC and please everybody. And I think this is one of the problems with Black Widow, is it didn't really have any teeth, in my opinion. And I like when things have teeth, right? I love them to have a point of view, a strong point of view, even if I don't agree with it. And Bambi does. Okay. Bambi is a film that shows you beyond a shadow of a doubt that Walt Disney doesn't just dislike hunters, he hated hunters. And I think I can say that because when you see the sequence where the hunters do what they do to Bambi, and I hope you've seen it because, you know, spoiler alert is Bambi's mother gets killed. Sorry if you didn't see it, but now you're prepared for it. But after that, the hunters are blasting everything. They're shooting trees. They're shooting squirrels. They're shooting bugs. They're shooting nuts. They are depicted in Bambi. And if you haven't watched Bambi in this way, go back and watch it with this in mind. They depict the hunter as this insane killing maniac who, when they get a gun, they just shoot like anywhere and everything, anything. A leaf blows, bam, 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 bam. You know, a bug moves, bam, 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 bam. You know, they shoot squirrels, bang, they shoot trees, all this kind of stuff. This is him saying hunters suck. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that's my point of view, but when you watch Bambi, that's Walt's point of view. And I loved it because there was no doubt as to how he felt. Do you think hunters were offended? Probably. But Walt didn't care. That was his film, made the way he wanted it. And if you're a hunter and you don't like his opinion of it, you don't have to watch Bambi. You don't have to make Bambi your favorite film. Just watch a different one. And that's one of the challenges with Disney films today is they're trying to be too soft. They don't want children to have that moment, that sadness, that deep, dark, how do I move forward grief. Old Yeller. My cousin's favorite movie growing up was Old Yeller. And that movie, don't you just feel like your heart's being cut out while you're watching it? That is such pain. You don't even know if you can continue to watch the film. It is that tough and emotional. But see, as a human being, I like to go through that because it helps me to feel. I love films, and I love films that make me feel. I want to experience inside my body joy. Ted Lasso. Oh my gosh, Ted Lasso. Oh my gosh, the grief, the joy, the strength, the teamwork, the love, this is why Ted Lasso is so amazing, because we feel. We don't just watch. We're not just spectators. We're a part of it. And so in Bambi, I'm a part of it. I'm right next to Bambi as he calls out for his mother. We made it, mother, mother, mother. And then it's time for the father, you know, the king of the forest, to help the little prince grow into what he's now going to have to be, right? Because there is no more mom. Yeah, we would have liked to have mom and dad both there. Who wouldn't? But the pain, and then you watch how he develops and how that affects his life as the prince of the forest. So you can tell I'm a big Bambi fan, can't you? Yeah. You just listen to my husband about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's his favorite. And he can go on and on. He just loves this movie. And there's a million reasons why he loves it. So I think when we have a favorite, and thank you for asking this, Jacob, is when we have a favorite movie, the joy of that movie is often the sadness of the movie too. So I love that. And to 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 uh, co- um, to add a block to this question, Jacob, my favorite live action movie is Mary Poppins. And the reason I like Mary Poppins is because it is just magical. And my favorite sequence in the movie is Feed the Birds. Because when the little boy says, I wanted to give it to the lady to feed the birds, as opposed to putting it in the bank, that is that shows us his heart. The banker, everybody is like, you can compound it, daily. And we have this beautiful Dick Van Dyke song in between that and the dad and everybody. It's cool, very cool. But just to see this little boy say, but I want to give it to her to feed the birds. And that's kind of the artful mind. We understand the logic of compounding our money and that we need that to survive. But sometimes you just want to give to someone else, to help someone else, because you're compelled, your heart wants to do that. And so in Mary Poppins, there's so many beautiful little moments of awareness and realization, how when we come to find out that if we're strict in one way and we become more playful, that being more playful can help us understand the world through a child's eyes. And you can be childlike, not childish. So a friend of mine just the other day said, live your life, live your life as a child would. So not not but just remember what it was like to be young and young at heart. Young at heart will help you to live longer, will help you to find the magic in things. If it's grindstone, 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 must, work, and you can't see when a monarch flies, oh, wow, look at that monarch. Or your work, and you miss the beautiful sky and the colors because there's been a rain and the sun is setting, and instead of it being white clouds on a blue sky, you've got purples and pinks. Every time I see a lizard, I gotta stop and see a lizard and see how cool they are and how wonderful. I just take great joy in the discovery, and I never tire of it. I never tire of it. I love it. I love it. I love learning new things. I personally feel that if you don't live to learn, you might as well dig yourself that 6-foot length grave and jump in it, because learning is life. In Ted Lasso, he says, football is life. Well, to me, learning is life. If you want to live, learn something new and get with your friends to do it, And why pumpkins? See how I segued there? Why pumpkins? Because there's a lot of you out there that may be saying, I'm not an artist, I can't do this. But let me tell you something. I have trained people who tell me that over and over and over again. And I go, get yourself in my class so I can prove you wrong. Okay? Because when I open this part of your brain and help you to unlock it, it's amazing what you're going to do. People who believed they weren't artists have written books, have gone on to make jewelry, have gone on to create clothing, cosplay, cook, or simply sculpt more pumpkins. But they love it. It works. It never fails. And because it has a foot in your childhood, you aren't as afraid with pumpkins. And I've got you. I've got your back. Okay? I'm going to help you be successful in sculpting that pumpkin, and you will be amazed at yourself, you non-artists out there, you people who do numbers and think that the solving equations is not art. Something I can't do as well. So I think you're a maestro at it if you do, especially you that do it in your head. Wow. Those of you who clean and you make things sparkle like nothing I've ever experienced in my life, you too are artists. So don't think of yourself as just okay? Think of yourself as an artist is a person who's passionate about what they do. And you moms out there, this is a message for you, because, and dads, raising children is not, I'm just a mom, or I'm just a dad, or I'm just keeping a happy home. Because we all know, don't we, that doing that is some of the hardest work in the universe. Raising children is difficult. And you can see just how difficult it is when it's done incorrectly. I'm sure you've seen the kids that are like knee high to a grasshopper. They barely speak and they've got an iPhone. They've got a smartphone in their hand. And they're playing that because why? The parent doesn't want to deal with the child, is all I can think of. Put in the comments if you disagree. But honestly, parents interact, work with their kids. Doesn't mean giving their kids a tablet or a phone is a bad thing, but don't make that their entire life. Because being with you and doing joyful, fun things is cool. My stepson, I met him when he was 6.5, and we took a mattress and built a city in Lego on the mattress, an old mattress. And then I dressed him up as like a Godzilla-like monster, and he terrorized the town while I played the screaming people. None of this was on a device. It was all live, and we were in the backyard, and we were making all kinds of noise, and it was so much fun. And that made us friends for life. So there you go. All that, Jacob, from what was my favorite Disney film. Can we join the pumpkin class but just watch it? Jacob, that's a really good question. Okay? Hold that question till we get closer to the class, because we won't be able to do it if my class is full. Okay? If my class is full, we won't be able to have room for spectators. But if my class is not full, we have capacity, I will let you know. Okay? Message me, will you? And I'm just looking for a pen here. There it is. Because I want to write that down, spectators. Now, you will have to pay a little something if you want to watch. But we just have to make sure right now that that we have room for the people who are taking the class. Now, another thing I will tell you is, if you've got someone taking the class and the other person wants to watch, that's cool. Okay. So let's say you have a little kid and the little kid wants to do the class. You can pay the $75. You can join and say it's for my son or my daughter. Okay. Because I've taught as young as 3 years old. You have to be there, because we use a knife to open the pumpkin. So I need you as the adult to do the knife. I'm not handing children no knives. So, but if you're an adult and has a little young person, who wants to come and do it, then do that. And I really think that if they're 14 or younger, you need to be there. So you would be there as the observer, and they would do the sculpting. Okay. And that can be any age that you think can go for it. Understand the attention span is much like my own when they're super young, and you may have to finish it. I allow that too. So it's a really good question, Jacob. And I'm glad you brought it up, because if there is one person who wants to observe or assist on the one pumpkin, then yes, you can do that. Just two people. Okay. But that, you see why spectators are a bit of a challenge, because what if a mom and a dad wants to come and have their little boy sculpt, right? We just got to make sure we have room. So hit me up in Messenger if you want to take the class and you want to bring your son or your daughter, and there's two of you. Just let me know, and that way I can get with the person who's hosting it, and we can make sure that we have room for everyone who wants to take the class. Yeah. 30 minimum. So join quickly. We already have 5 or 6 spots sold, and this is August. So we're going all the way to the end of October. So just go there and sign up and go for it. It is non-refundable in both respect. In both sides. And in the case of the live one, that's because I've got stuff to buy. So there you go. Okay. Oh boy, great question, Jacob. You're just killing it today. Oh, thank you, Jacob. You gonna join? Yes, joining Terri's tribe. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. And at the end, maybe I'll pull that up so you have that link. But there you go. Michael, that is a good question. Will Outrageous Pumpkins be on this year? I don't know. This is I'm not trying to, be mysterious, but I don't know. I'm reaching out to them and talking to them, but I don't know yet, but I hope so. I'll keep you posted. As soon as they tell me, I will tell you. Be sure to check out the ones I've done before. Being a judge on that show has been a real godsend. What's fun is that many of the other judges, or the other judge that's on there, you've seen in the past, is the amazing Ray Villafane, and he's all about pumpkins. Ray loves to do pumpkins, sculpt pumpkins, and then maybe sculpt gourds, and then pumpkins, and then sculpt, and And I'm a Swiss Army knife. I don't do that. He also builds these really fun kind of woodland creatures, these scarecrow type creatures he's very proud of. And I teach. I like to teach pumpkin sculpting. So my area I'm really good at what I do. My sculptures are fun, whimsical, weird, strange, odd, different, if you will. Look at this one. Is that like so crazy? I can show you how to do something like this. What we did is we took a butternut squash, not a butternut squash. It's another one. It's an orange one. I don't think it's butternut. And, but it's a squash and it's orange. So it's solid for most of the way. And then the seeds are in the little bell in the bottom. And this was just a way to tell people that they needed to go up onto into my gate to get candy from my house. But you guys can do anything. We can work on anything. I used a toothpick or a skewer to put the arm that I sculpted into the hole of the pumpkin that I cut out. So, like I said, you can do some weird stuff. I have another one that's really fun and strange. Let's see if I can find him. He was on my website. I don't know if I have him here, but I can bring him up on my website again. Yeah, there we go. On my website, we have this one here that I really like, this guy. And you see how his hand is reaching in the ivy. This is the day after Halloween, and he's reaching into the ivy. And if you look around the leaf, I don't know if you can see it, but he's starting to get that black rot. See, one of the nice things about these is you can put them in and they'll start to rot, and the black looks like beard stubble. So sometimes when they rot, they're just really fun. I should do some photos of one in process of rotting, but they really are fun across the board to do that. And, you want hands, you want anything. I can show you how to do all that stuff in the class. So I hope you will join that class. Thank you. Thank you for the question. And then check out Outrageous Pumpkins when you're looking at the class. Go check out the show. And if you have questions about it, feel free to ask me. Yes, indeed. Good morning, Bob Berdeen. Angie, hello. Work gets in the way of your social life. Yes, but we're happy you have work, sweetie. Congratulations to you. We always love to see your smiling face pop in, and congratulations. I'm really happy that you have work. I know how you feel, but these are here waiting for you on YouTube when you have time. So that's good. Good morning, Ava. That is me, Stephen, in my Ted Lasso jersey. And the back says Abosanya because I am a Sam fan. Yeah. And then I saw, what was it, episode 3 or 4 that features Sam. I can't remember it. I think it's called Do the Right Thing or something like that. Oh, it's so good. I cried. I got so emotional on it, Stephen. I couldn't believe it. Oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it. And then the next one was really good too. The season 2 is great. What my husband has to put up with is okay. So Leo Holzer let us all know last Friday that they drop on midnight Friday morning. I'm not up. I'm not going to watch it then, but I do watch it with my husband. He always says you can watch it because you're going to watch it 50 times anyway. He's right. Because what I do is I watch the episode and then I go back to the first episode in season 1 and I watch it all the way through to feel the flow. Because I just love Ted Lasso and I have my favorite episodes. Okay. One of my absolute favorites is Be Curious, Not Judgmental. Of course it would be, right? Because I'm all about that. Be curious, not judgmental. But also Do the Right Thing, I think, is the other one that just gets me. And then there's another one, the one just after that. I can't remember the title of it, but it's also just as wonderful. I was torn because I was going to have a Roy Kent jersey because I'm a big fan of Roy's too. I love the guy. I love the actor. I love the character. But I decided to do Sam. I was going to take an obscure soccer player and put it on the back of my shirt. But honestly, I decided, and now he was featured. He was just featured in the second season. I said, see, I could have had that guy. So, it's fun. It's such a fun show. And it looks really good on camera, doesn't it? The colors just. So it's on Apple TV. Okay. It's on Apple Plus, right? Apple, yeah. And it's just $4.99 per month to join. And Apple has some work to do as far as other shows you can watch on there. There's not a lot, but they have Ted Lasso, and that's the whole reason I'm watching it. Is I just love that show, and every week I get this dose of joy I can feel, not just see. Okay, I like a show you can feel. Another show that does that, didn't they, at least in their early seasons, was This Is Us. Now they're struggling a little bit, and they're finally in their final season, and the reason is because they're realizing it's becoming more and more difficult to come up with things that feel. And yet they still do a really good job. I'm impressed with that show. I love that show as well because it gets to your heart. It makes you feel. And it's a great show. So I love those shows that don't cheat me out of feeling. I want to feel the stuff. Don't cut it short. Let me go down that rabbit hole of sadness, and then joy is more fun, because when you're sad and then outcome is joy, then, like, for example, in Lady and the Tramp, which I love Lady and the Tramp, okay? But when Trusty is struck and the dogs, oh, man, do you not cry? Do you not cry as we see poor Trusty under the cart and we don't know the outcome? We're super overjoyed when we find out he suffered a broken leg and he's gonna be okay. And then he goes to all the little puppies that Lady and Tramp have had, and he says, as my old pappy used to say, I don't know if I ever mentioned what he used to say. And they go, no, Uncle Trusty. And he goes, I plumb forgot. It's just, that feels so much. I mean, I think we like it better. Okay. I just think it's, in Dumbo, as an actress, if I want to cry on cue, I sing Baby of Mine in my head. I think I've mentioned this before. It brings tears to my eyes almost immediately because I envision the mother trapped in that circus cage of hers, and she's swinging the baby outside, and the baby is holding, little Dumbo is holding. But in the end, Dumbo's success and his rise we get bigger joys when we've had some sadness before in film. Okay, in film. But that's why I don't like to be cheated of that. I don't want you to take me out of that feeling. I want to feel that and then let me go. Let me cry. and then I'll dab my tears and laugh maybe minutes later. But you've let me go through that process. And I think that's the sign of a really good filmmaker. I do. I do. And I like suspense rather than gore. A lot of blood and guts does not scary make to me. It just is like, ooh. But Tippi Hedren going up to that room in the birds when we know what's going to happen and we're saying, Tippi, don't go. It's terrifying. It's terrifying sequence. So, yeah, and we like that, when we say we want to be scared. It's not a cat in a trash can thing. It's that suspense of, I know something bad is behind that door. Don't touch that. Don't do it. No. And we've watched the movie 100 times, right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's my feeling. Thank you about asking about my jersey. Can you carve the baby from dinosaurs this year? This year, I am going to be doing a special pumpkin, which when you go to the class, you'll see. Okay. But it's not baby from dinosaurs. No. I mean, you could join the class and come do it. I'll show you how. Thank you, Steve. Daniel DeMeyer, how are ya? Karen Johnson was her name when she lived in San Diego and worked at the Big Kitchen on Grape Street. Well, aren't you a wealth of information? I love that. I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Indeed, indeed. Yes, love it. Ivano, all the way from Canada. Oh, Canada. Hi, wonderful that you're sharing your experiences with everyone. I do this every Friday. This is Ask Me Anything Fridays. So, of course, I am. But thank you for saying that, Ivano. I appreciate it. Mondays, I just kind of do a hi, how are you to the public. And then Fridays are the Ask Me Anythings. And this, I'm really excited because when I came in, we had tons of questions, and that's great. I like seeing tons of questions. So yes, Ivano, I'm doing it. I'm sharing the experiences, sharing the love, if you will. And on my Patreon page, you get to peek at what I'm up to. I started the Roly Crump chess set, and today on Patreon, they got to take a peek at my challenges as I work on the first piece and make it usable as a chess piece. Yes. They got to see that today. So patreon.com/Terri Hardin, patreon.com/Terri Hardin. I'll post it at the end if I remember. I pray I do. Thank you, Ivano. Connie Lane, it seems that there are 3 choices in life: give up, give in, or give it all you got. We give it all we got. Exactly. I mean, we're human beings, right? We're magical creatures. Like I've said before, you're not a goose. You don't have to fly south for the winter. There is no programming in your body that makes you hibernate. I want to stay up. No, I want to stay up. But I'm a big grizzly bear, and I've got to go to sleep. Doggone it. I wanted to watch. You don't have to do that. You're human. You can say, no, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to stay up all night. I'm going to stay up as long as I can. Or I'm going to do as Connie says here, I'm going to play life full out. Why? Because God, that's what God intended for you, is to be the best you can be. I did a keynote speech about success. And I said the key to success is embracing who you are. Because if you are trying to become successful at whatever you're doing, distractions, do we agree, do we not agree, can slow you down. Well, if you're wearing a mask or you're pretending to be something or someone else for whatever your reasons are, this is a distraction. For me, my hair is going gray. I don't even know if you can see it. I'm so excited about it going gray. For the longest time, as you can see from the ends, it was. Let's look, agree one. Woohoo! No, I digress. There, you see these little blonde ends here. This was dyed. I used to have all different colors, and this is the end. This is the as it grows out. And you can see here, there's a gray one. Yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't get that excited. Yes, I should. And so I asked my hairdresser, my agent, if I could grow my hair out gray, because for the longest time they didn't want me to, because I look so young in my skin. And finally I said to them, there's plenty of roles for older, feisty old ladies. So I wanted to change that up a little bit. And I got to, I've been growing it out for a while. And the gray oxidizes. It's kind of this dirty dishwater blonde. But at one point, it'll go gray. I want it to go silver. I'd love it to go white. But I'm not going to covet that what I don't have. What my point is that it took off my shoulders something I didn't really realize was on my shoulders. And that was, it took away what I call the last lie. Instead of pretending to be 40 when I auditioned, or 45 when I auditioned, I got to be closer to 50. Even now at 64, I audition from anywhere from 45 to my age, depending on the perception of whoever's, having me do the audition. But I'm doing roles that are more like me. I'm no longer pretending to be a 40-year-old. I'm no longer pretending to be younger than I am. I'm me. I've always loved to be the age that I am. So it's so great now to audition for roles and for products and for items that relate to me, the senior year person, officially at 65, which is next year, but I'm getting close. So I love that. And it made me more exuberant. It made me happier. That what seems to be a little thing, many actresses lie about their age, I could be really me. And I think my auditions were better because that weight was off my back. I didn't perform what I thought was a 40-year-old. I got to bring my experiences and who I am as a 64-year-old, as over 50 person onto when I auditioned. And I just loved it. So I think success has to do with embracing your inner you. Be proud of who you are, and don't let anyone dictate your life to you. Don't let anyone tell you how you're going to live your life. Okay. Live it for the benefit of people, not the destruction of people, not the destruction of the world, for the world. I think that's obvious. Yeah. You want to do it to help others. And Zig Ziglar always said, and we always quote this quote with Zig Ziglar, if you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. Okay. And here's something I don't know if Zig Ziglar said or not, but when you help enough people get what they want, it's a lot more fun than just being all about you. It's so much fun helping others get what they want. And then you are blessed with getting what you want. Okay. So anytime I have someone who just goes, I'm not an artist. I'm not an artist. And then I say, take this pumpkin, and they sculpt it and they go, I can't tell you. They're weeping. I'm weeping. We're all crying because we're all happy that this person has had a breakthrough. I had a lady, she wanted to sculpt a lion on the pumpkin. And the way I usually do it is you take one side, I take the other, and we kind of go together. Okay. And it's slow. I have you do you map it out, mouth, eye, do you want teeth? Do you want scary teeth? Do you want a nose? Or are you sculpting a Disney character or a character that you like on your pumpkin? I'll show you how to do it either way. I'm not going to tell you can't. I'm one of these teachers who, if you're at the beginner level, no, I'm not going to tell you can't do it. What does beginner mean to you as opposed to beginner to someone else? So it's going to be an amazing class. I don't know that you've ever been in a class like mine. Okay. I'm just going to say it's a lot of joy. But I had this lady who wanted to do this lion because she was a Leo, and she was very upset. She wasn't doing it. The thing is, a lot of these pumpkins, the walls are very thick. So she had sculpted about in this far. So you still had all of this to work with. Yeah. So I came over, she was crying. I'm not good at this. I suck at this. Blah. And I said, no. You just haven't dug deep enough. And I showed her how to change it. Okay. And slowly, oh my gosh. And then afterwards, she still said, I think it should go in the trash can. And I was like, let's put a light in it first. And when we put a light in it, she burst into tears and then said, "It's so beautiful." So you may go through a lot of emotions when you sculpt a pumpkin about yourself. That inner voice might be a screamer, but by the end, you will have crushed that voice and you would have shown yourself that you can do exactly what I know you can do. Every one of you can do this, but you just need the right teacher. And I have the confidence after years of teaching classes like this live to tell you I'm that teacher. Okay. So if you really want to try this, invest that $75 and come join us. You're not only going to get the support from me, the teacher, you're going to get the support from the entire class because you all are all a lot like me. So those of you who join the class are going to be upbeat, positive, and high-spirited and celebrating each other, or we'll stick you in the corner. There's no room for haters. There's just not. You're not gonna, I once sculpted eggshells. Yes, eggshells. I told you, if I see it, I want to do it. And the story that comes to mind is that my eggshell carving teacher confessed to me that she'd always wanted to sculpt the face of her husband, but she didn't say she had the wrong teachers. She just said, "Is there another type of clay I can use? Because my thumb was broken and the oil clays, which are your Chavants and your clays that don't have to be wrapped. But there's a beautiful water clay called wed clay that was designed by the sculptors and Imagineers at Imagineering, and it stands for Walter Elias Disney wed clay. It is a beautiful mixture of a water-based clay. Yes, you do have to wrap it with a moist towel and put it under a plastic bag while you're working, but you won't believe the difference when you work with this particular clay. And I told her about this clay, and we got some of this clay, and I told her I'd be happy to teach her how to sculpt her husband in a whimsical way if she would teach a friend of mine. Well, when she went to teach egg carving to a friend of mine, one of the phases was a emu egg, which is beautiful. In the how do I say this? In the thickness of a 1/16 of an inch, it goes from the beautiful blue or emerald green color to gray to white to the whole. Okay. Like thin. Oh, they're just fascinatingly wonderful eggs. Anyway, she wants you to do a swan. She teaches all her beginners a swan, a swan, a swan, a swan. But I had a Navy SEAL sitting in that chair, and he wasn't about to do a swan. In fact, when she said, "We're going to sculpt a swan," he said, "I'm not going to sculpt no sissy swan. I'm going to sculpt the American flag." And she went, "But that could be a little complicated." And he gave her a look. "Get away from me," he said. "I'm going to sculpt a flag." Now, I had to pull her aside and say, "He's not being rude. He's one of my students. Because I'm going to make you feel like you can do anything, because you can. I'm going to show you. You bring me the design, I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to figure it out." Okay? So I'd like you as a beginner to do a face so you learn the process. But if your heart is set on doing something else, you take this class, you bring it, we're going to help you get there. Okay? Seriously, I'm not joking. I have a dear friend. You saw her last time, Kendra Trahan King. She did a Cinderella coach. She had to do a Cinderella coach. Her very first pumpkin. I want to do a Cinderella coach. So we said, okay, let's tackle the Cinderella coach. And we did. Was it perfect? It was lovely when she lit it up. It was nice when it wasn't lit, but it was lovely when she lit it up. And so it's just, I'll have these debates when I'm a judge on Outrageous Pumpkins with the other judges, because many of them don't believe you should light the inside of your pumpkin up. But I disagree. And never the twain shall meet, because I think they're gorgeous lit up, as you've seen, right? So, but we love each other and we love each other's abilities, and don't light them if you don't want to. But I think a light inside looks really cool. So, yeah, baby. Thank you, Connie. Stephen, Dumbo has baby of mine scene that will get you right in the heart. Exactly, Stephen. And that is why, people say, a person who auditions will say, can you cry on cue? And I sang baby of mine in my head because my eyes automatically start tearing up and I get really sad, because I see that scene and that's what I do. Some might call that method acting. I don't really know, but I do know that if I want to cry, that's what I sing to myself, and I'm going to get off it because I'm already getting teary-eyed now. Connie Lane, 100%. That's all I know. As a child, I was taught not to depend on anyone. My mother raised 5 children on her own, and she stressed that we learned that lesson. Absolutely. I mean, never give up and don't let others dictate your life. And what does that mean? I don't mean that someone says you should be a this or you should be a that. That's an obvious dictation of your life, isn't it? But someone might say, what's that supposed to be while you're drawing, sketching, or sculpting? What's that supposed to be? Don't quit your day job. Oh, really? I don't see it. Things like that. That is negative comments without commenting that are making you feel like you can't do it. What's that supposed to be? Really? Doesn't look like it. That kind of stuff, okay? Which would make you stop, wouldn't it? Oh, I'm not good at this. Well, you can't be good at everything. See? Poison. And remember, poison isn't effective unless you take it. So don't take the poison. Okay? Don't take that into your body, because there's people out there whose sole mission, and I hate this to be the case, is to take you down. The ones that are confident, the ones that are leaders, they make it their mission to cut you down. I don't know why you choose this, but why are there bullies? A bully is going to find fault with anybody and anything. If they're a bully, they're going to, they hate the lamppost because it's too thin. Why is that thick at the bottom and thin at the top? That looks ridiculous. You know what I mean? A bully is going to find fault with anything and anybody. So understand where it's coming from as best you can. Sometimes you're challenged and you don't know exactly how to get out of it, and it really does hurt. But hang in there. Don't let them win. Come, once you come out of those altercations, get with people who love you and can surround you with warmth and glow and let you know that A, it wasn't your fault, and B, you have every right to be on this earth because you are a blessing from God, right? So, boom. Or call me, because I will tell you the same thing. And Connie's in Bob Berdeen. What about Tron 1 says, hi, Lee, how are you? Tron 1 is one of my husband's favorite movies, okay? I like the motorcycle sequence, but I wasn't a big fan of Tron when it came out. Yeah, not my cup of tea. Doesn't mean it wasn't a good movie, though. And the ride in Shanghai, soon to be in Florida, hope, 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 you all gonna love. Because that ride is cool. So just because the movie wasn't that much for me doesn't mean that the ride is not, because the ride is the best. That's so good. That's great. I was wondering. That's great. I was wondering, and now Rose and I may be able to attend. Our hands don't work well anymore. Yeah, Bob. Sure. Exactly. So, just let me know and we'll see. I'm going to talk with the person who's hosting. It's my friend Stephanie. I'll have a talk with Stephanie and see if we can do that. But we're going to let you know. So hold the 30th, observers. We will probably let you know closer to the 30th of October, because we want to make sure we can get anyone and everyone in who wants to carve to do that. However, you can watch on the virtual. So you can watch us on the virtual. That's open. I can have 100 people on the virtual one, and that can be observers, non-observers. You pay the $40, you're in, whether you do a pumpkin or not. So if you want to watch, you can watch virtually. You can learn virtually. You can take both if you want. I'm not going to say no as far as the virtual class. We may have to trade off sculpting. Yeah. Savannah. Well, hello, Savannah. Good morning. Hope you're having an amazing day. Well, I am now that you've shown up. So Savannah is Pretty in Pink. Not the movie. Just Savannah has this beautiful kind of peaches and cream skin. She has lovely blonde hair. She loves pink. Pink, the soft pinks, you know. I can't remember the play, but there was a lady who loved, I don't know if she loved pink, but she came in and they did like a powder puff because she always had this sort of Glenda the Good Witch feel to her. So that's what I kind of think of Savannah. She loves pink and she is pretty in pink. So Savannah, it's so glad to see you today. Deanna's smiling. I started my third year college this year. You did, Jacob, doing graphic design. Do you know any graphic designs or advice or any tips? Let me think on that, Jacob, because I'll bet you my husband does. And I'll get back to you. Remind me next Friday. I'm going to put it down because my husband might just know that. Because, Yep. I think he does, actually. I think we have some books even. So I'll have him pull them for you, Jacob. That's a good question also. By the look of your shirt, it's a Ted's Lasso night at the HARDIN'S. You got it. Actually, it's going to be in the afternoon. We're going to do that. I'm going to try and talk my husband sitting quietly from 1 to 2 p.m. today, and we're going to watch it then. Because he has to go to work. He does the night shift. So, or it's tomorrow. But I won't watch it until the first viewing is with him so that he can watch me get all into it. He gets into it, but not like yours truly. I love the show. So I am a part of that group. I just love those characters. Oh, kiss, kiss, kiss. Terry, I'm so sorry I joined late. When exactly is your class? Is it in person or online? How do you register? Savannah, I'm so glad you asked. Let me have another cup of tea. I am so glad you asked that. You are so nice to ask that. So the first thing you're going to do is go to my website. There it is, terrihardin.com. And on the bar at the top, you're going to click on the event calendar. I'm going to tap it now. A drop-down menu will ask you if you want to check out Outrageous Pumpkins from the past, the TV show, or would you like to learn about the pumpkin sculpting class? Of course, you tap pumpkin sculpting. Savannah, there's a virtual class and a live class. Whoop, 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 whoop. And the live class is $75. Non-refundable. I got to say that because I want to be upfront about it, because I will be buying your pumpkin and supplying some tools for you to use. You can go and purchase my special to get the tools and or the DVD or both together. But if you don't want to share, many of my alumni don't like to share. But $75 October 30th in Anaheim, Savannah, 5 miles from Disneyland. So you can make it an event. I'll be there all day Saturday, starting at 9 o'clock, where we'll have a little mixer. Stephanie's putting together some things to eat and things to drink, and she just loves creating events. So this is all her. She's so sweet. And then you can stay as long as you want. Takes 2 to 3 hours to do a pumpkin if you've got to get somewhere. But if you just want to leisurely chill and take your time with the pumpkin, I'm there till God turns the lights out. Okay? I've always been this way when I've done a live course, because some people have so much fun taking their time, understanding, and letting their art evolve in the best way they see fit. So the live class is going to be amazing. And I think I've got 4 or 5 people already joined. I can only take 30. And this is August. So this is August. We have all of September. We have all of October. And we will be doing it because Stephanie and I have taken social distancing and outdoors and so on and so forth. And right now, I'm not teaching 10,000 so you can be outdoors without your mask, but we're gonna social distance you so that you're as safe as you possibly can be is gonna be our goal and our motto. Okay, so we just want to keep you safe. I'll be in a mask as I go around from person to person to person because I want to keep you safe. Okay, we're all about that. So we will have this class unless California locks us down. And please pray that they don't do that. Who wants to go through that again? Really? No. So we will be doing it. It will be wonderful. It will be exciting. And we can't wait. So Savannah, thank you. $75. Go to my website, click on the class you want, and it has a button there. See? Register, live class, register, and here are some of the pumpkin examples below. It would be nice to show you on camera. So here it shows you how to register right there. And then here are some of mine and some of my students. So you'll have a great time. You will enjoy yourself. For asking that, please come, Savannah. I think you would have a great time. However, you're gonna probably have to leave your little puppy at home because it's hard to sculpt with your puppy on your arm. So yeah, make sure your mom takes care of that sweet little adorable puppy of yours. I just wanted to watch last year on the virtual pumpkin sculpting and got inspired, ended up sculpting. I remember that, Michael. I remember that. I was trying to think if I do. Isn't this yours, Michael? Isn't that cute, guys? That's yours, right, Michael? I found it. You see? Yeah. So he watched, and then later he sculpted the butternut squash like I told you can do. So, and I don't know that he used fork and stuff like that, right? So, yay, of course. Yeah, watch the virtual one. You can do it from your home. You can make popcorn. You can sit back. You can maybe have a butternut squash on hand and play with it if you get inspired, because Michael will tell you that's what happens. Your hands start to itch and tingle as you see how well everybody is doing who said they couldn't do it. And then you want to do it. Your hands just kind of go. So be careful, that observance. Where can we watch and pay for the Halloween pumpkin carving class? Virtual class. So again, I'm going to say it again, and thank you for asking. Very sweet of you. You're going to go here at the top above my head. So if we go back, there I am, and up in the bar, event calendar, and then you tap on pumpkin sculpting, and it's going to take you to the page, and then sign up for the virtual class, which is right here. $40. It's going to run 3 hours, and you can sit and watch, or you can sculpt. Up to you. Love to have you. Okay? So TerriHardin.com, event schedule, drop-down menu, classes, click on classes, sign up for the virtual one, $40. Okay? Love to have you on the virtual one. You can get your popcorn ready. I guess I should show you my Terri Hardin t-shirts. You can get dressed in a Terri Hardin t-shirt. I have a few, okay, that have that logo that I drew on there. This one here. This one up in the corner. I have t-shirts that have this on it, so maybe I should pull those out, and you could dress up in your Terri Hardin t-shirt and be all ready to watch pumpkin sculpting. Like me in my Ted Lasso jersey. Mine are a lot more reasonable, though. Mine are like $20 for the shirt, as opposed to, what was this, like 40 something or whatever, 50. It was crazy. But, it's a TV shirt. So thank you for the question, Jacob. And Bob says, Connie Lane, thank you. Larry, how are you? It's so disheartening when you create something you're satisfied and proud of. You decide to share it, and the first thing you hear is a negative comment or someone pointing out what's wrong with it. Yeah, that is a challenge. Okay, that is a challenge. You have a good point, Larry. Yes, as creative people, we have to have a tough skin, and being able to take criticism is part of it. But besides taking it, we also have to learn to give it in a way that is constructive, not destructive. Larry, you say it just right. Okay, so let me, through the art of visual aids, let me show you my dog pumpkin. Okay. All right. So, because sometimes the person criticizing you is your inner voice. So, I have a very dear friend who does those pumpkins that you scrape the outside lightly and you carve it with the idea of lighting it up. His name is Mark. Mark Maniac. You look for him on Instagram. He does beautiful work. He does portraits. He's always hired in Halloween, a big, highly coveted pumpkin sculptor. And a lot of the sculptures that he does, I'd say most of it is this kind of stained glass look. But I asked Mark why he doesn't show it to me in this stage. Well, look, it's, come on. What are you saying about this? It's ugly, right? You're saying, wow, if that was on my porch, I don't know if people would think Imagineer did it. Okay. And you're telling all of this to yourself and you're saying, should I keep going? Man, it doesn't look good. Man, it looks crazy, you know? And this is what people say when they're doing sculpture the way I teach it. This is what they have in their head. I had this in my head, but I kept going, as Connie has said. You just keep going. And look what happens when you light it. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It's amazing. I mean, guys, this is what happens when you're sculpting the pumpkins with me. You're thinking to yourself, your inner voice is going, don't quit your day job. You don't know how to do this. This is crappy. They're giving you negative comments. As Larry is pointing out, you know, and you just go, you just keep going though. You la, 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 la. And then what happens is this. And those same haters are like, whoa, wow, oh my goodness. Seriously. So that's why, you know, I really had a hard time, you know, thinking in those realms, because I am really good at the la, 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 la with haters. Okay. And as Larry has pointed out, you got to find out what the criticism is. Well, the arm's this and the face is this and what's going on with that nose. That's a hater. Okay. That's a hater. Just as best you can, disregard that comment. Okay. Just goodbye. Get lost. Take it off your feed if you want. Or let the people who follow you defend you, because that happens. People start to badmouth you in some way, and the people who love you come to your defense. And that's great too. But if somebody says, you know, I really love what you're doing, just like you have said, Larry, I really love what you're doing. However, for your next one, may I suggest da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. But the reality of it is this: your art is your art. And Larry, it may start to do your vision of things. It may not be like everybody else, Salvador Dali. I mean, can you imagine when Salvador Dali first started painting? Don't you think there were haters that were going, what are you doing? Oh, a melting face? Is that what that is? Skin being held up by little forks? You see what I mean? Your interpretation is your interpretation, and it's not going to make everybody love it, but you know, you can come back with, if they say the eyes are too close set, and you go, that's my vision. The mouth, you know, people illustrate like people illustrate. And you're trying to find who you are. You want to be able to do a piece that when they look at it, they go, that's a, and your name follows. Okay. You may have seen a lot of Disney artists who have shown their work, and when you look at it and their name is hidden, you go, wow, that looks like a Mark Davis, or it looks like a Ken Anderson, or it looks like a, and it turns out to be a younger artist who has been influenced by that. Okay. And that's a great way to start. But then that artist needs to pull back and try not to be reminiscent of past artists. It's not an easy thing to do. For the longest time, my work looked like Disney art. But now I strive with my sculptures and things to make them Terri Hardin pieces. So even though they look like Disney, I'm taking subjects and doing things differently, and it becomes a Terri Hardin piece. Usually you can tell my impressions are Terri Hardin pieces because they are not necessarily the happy side of the characters. They're more curious looking, or they're kind of sad and melancholy. So I'm going to pull up another thing here. I'm going to try. Here we go. So this little Stitch, for example, is one that people said I like Stitch when he's kind of feeling something. He's either angry or he's happy, and I want that in the middle Stitch. So that's how this Stitch was created, was this sweet little, love me Stitch. Ohana means family is what this one is titled. Okay. Oh, I'm sketching in Paris. This Tinkerbell is her tiptoeing across the map. But if you took it directly from the movie, the map would be 10 times the size of Tinkerbell. It would be the size of a penny, and that would look stupid. So we did this little postage stamp idea. I got this from you Tinkerbellites who love Tinkerbell. You can see she's just demonstrating how she told Captain Hook where the Peter Pan lived on a postage stamp. So that's what we did. So I'm not confined. This is a mermaid of mine. It's a portrait of a lady whose husband collects mermaids, and I made her the mermaid. So what am I saying here? I'm just saying that things are my interpretation. If it's crazy and detailed, a lot of people know it's me. But but there's all kinds of things that will show you that it's me and it's mine. My hitchhiking ghosts, for example, are just because they're different and fun and whimsical, and just I made them different. This is a different kind of pose, but it still has my whimsy, still has my joy, my feeling. And what really makes these great is how they light up. So there he is. So here are the actual sculptures of them. And then here are the light up ghosts. Oh, that's a prototype. Goes through a million prototypes. This is the black light ghost. That's available. And then I have the light up ones. Don't have many of this set left. But these light up like little specters on your table. They're separate because you asked for them to be separate. So, but it took a long time for me to get to that where you could look at my work and go, that's a Terri Hardin. Okay. I really strived, but you start by, duplicating what you see. And if we use Salvador Dali, if you use Picasso, if you even use Michelangelo, they all started back in the day with painting nude models, live models, nude, sometimes clothed, but they did that first, and then they started to create their own art. Okay, Michelangelo always loving to replicate people, but he did it with the bright colors, didn't he, in the Sistine Chapel? So, and then he sculpted, which was, talk about a Swiss Army knife. Whoa. So there you go. So that is a great thing to say, Larry. Absolutely. Woohoo! Amazing. How fun. I hope you join us. It's right next to Disneyland, so you can make a day of it. You can go to Downtown Disney. You can stay overnight on Friday and then come see me Saturday. Go to Downtown Disney Saturday night. It's all up to you. But we're 5 miles away, so think about it. What time is the October 23rd in Eastern time? You are really cute. You're gonna make me work, aren't you, you little stinker? Okay, let's find out. Starts at 10 a.m. That makes 1 o'clock in the afternoon on 23rd. Yeah, yeah. I do it later on that Saturday for the West Coast because my West Coast people are used to getting up at dark 30, and I want to cut them a break for Halloween. So it's 3 hours difference. And thank you for asking me that question. I actually was able to say that, Jacob, with confidence. Class, I know what you meant. Don't you worry. You're on the happy channel. You're on the happy channel. That was it. Yay. I knew it. I knew that was your pumpkin. Hi, Leo. Have you tried to redo your logo after all the recent art? Nope. I love my logo. I love my logo. My logo looks like me. My glasses are different, but I have work glasses that look like that. So, I always tie my hair up in the back like this. So I love it. It's me. My work glasses are still those glasses. So let me just pull out my work glasses. When I'm doing the Outrageous Pumpkin show, so if you look at that, I have to have a different kind of glasses because these automatically go to sunglasses, which I love because of prescription. But these are my work glasses, and you can see right now they're more like, oh, I should tilt like this. They're more like that. Put the hair here. See, I look just like that drawing. And we'll do it here too. So I have these work glasses. They do not go dark. And usually when I'm sculpting or I'm outside or when I'm doing the outrageous, but they wanted these, but they don't like the fact that these go to sunglasses. It drives them crazy. Now I don't know if when I get a new prescription, which they keep trying to tell me, that I'm going to stay with these. You know, I'm an artist, so you know how we are. We experiment. You go, hey, how about a new kind of glasses? So you never know. So I always leave the logo the same, Leo, because I know I'll always have those work glasses. But these are my performance and appearance and broadcasting glasses. Art classes. That's what you said. Yeah, I got it. You're so adorable. I love that. So let's read this together, guys. Have you tried to redo your logo after all the recent art classes you've taken? Yay! Don't you just love ladders? Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. It's perfect. It's perfect. And it's also trademarked. So my signature's trademarked and this image is trademarked. And I have it on everything. I have it. It's so simple and easy. When you're doing a logo, it's very important that it can be shrunk down, enlarged, utilized simply. And this one just on a t-shirt, it looks so cute on white on a black t-shirt. On my cloths, when I'm doing appearances, I have a tablecloth. It's there. It really, Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank told me that he thought I had just blown it, had just knocked it out of the park with this logo. And to have someone like Kevin Harrington, who's like a gazillionaire, tell you that you really did nail it it just makes you so happy. So you just go, oh, thank you, Kevin. You know, you get all silly being around someone like that, don't you? You're off the chain. I love you, Jacob. You're fabulous too. Truth, kindness, respect, and authenticity is the best kind of love. Absolutely. And even truth can be given with love as opposed to given in anger. You know? However, when somebody has done something, like, for example, we're supposed to get together and I stand you up. And usually it's because I've had a brain freeze. But if I do that, I have to be really humble. You know, when the dogs get together, they go, I'm sorry, I'm not worthy. That's me. I feel so terrible because I can't keep everything in my head. I try to write it all down. But when someone does it to me, it kind of depends on the circumstance. But if you're a business and you want my dollar, it would be nice that you show up when you say you're going to show up, right? It's the pandemic, so I got to give a little grain of salt, as I've said before. But I do need to let you know that if I've got you coming over and I can't be in my studio sculpting, I get cranky. uh, Why didn't you come over? I had to be in the front and wait for you, and I couldn't sculpt. You know. So I will say something, not in a mean way, but I'll say you better have a nice gift in your hand when we reschedule. Champagne and caviar works. Anyway, it makes for a good giggle, doesn't it? Yeah, I have to take off. Bye, sweetie. Have a lovely weekend. Isn't it nice Savannah dropped in? Getting new eyeglass designs are so fun. It is. And I have a friend who worked on dinosaurs, John Crizzle, and he's had some of the coolest glasses designs that he said he got from Japan. And I've been trying to find that Japanese eyeglass guy forever, and I can't find it. And I've asked John, and John's like, I'll find it somewhere. It's hilarious. It's just hilarious. So I think it was Jacob. It might not have been Jacob. It might have been Jacob and Leo. And if you are someone else who wanted to see this, I have been promising to show my Norman Rockwell book, and guess what I did? I pulled it down. So here we go. This is the book. Now you know why it took so much time. This book right here is my giant Norman Rockwell, and it says it right here. It says Norman Rockwell, artist and illustrator by Buechner, Buechner. Okay, so there it is. It says it right here. And then you see it's in this cool box. And if we take it out, oh my goodness, it's so heavy. Anyway, there it is. And if we set it down here, and it's embossed. Do you see that embossing? Look at that. Whoa, cool. If we take it from the air here, you can see here that it is embossed. These letters are embossed in this nice cushy cover. This is really state-of-the-art, guys. As I open it, and I've got it to come back a little bit because I don't want to hit my microphone. I'm clearing my microphone. Beautiful, swirly. Okay, so here, the special leather edition. All right, I could lift it so you could read it, but it's heavy and I don't want to hurt it. Okay, so here it is. Norman Rockwell signed it. Signed by the artist and the author. I told you I am a collector's of book. This is copy number C17. I actually thought it was copy 170, but I guess it's a lot lower. So I've got both signatures by the artist on the front page. Little bit of wear up here, a little soily spot. Here's what it says. Norman Rockwell, this special leather-bound edition is limited to 1,100 copies, of which 1,000 are available to collectors. So that's a pretty nice little number out of 1,000, wouldn't you say? Okay, so I'm just got to clear my microphone again. Going to be very careful. Just wanted to show you that first page, okay? And then, of course, Rockwell art. So let me... Obviously, this is a coffee table book. There's great writings in it, contexts in it. 1970 is when it was printed. And then it's listed, introduction, first decade, 1910 to 1919, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, etc. Okay, I know. You're all saying, let's get into the pictures, right? Okay, so this is just a killer book, okay? I just don't know how to show it to you properly, but I'll do my best, okay? This is a big book. Okay. here you go. So there's a fold out page that folds out. I wonder if I can get back further. Let me see if my aerial camera will go back further. Just give me a minute while I find the controlio. That's as far as it goes, gang. Sorry about that. But you can see here how great his art is, and then it folds out again. Look at that. So this is I'm a book nut. Here's more. So you can see how beautiful. You can see he did life, his art, and many of you had pointed out, he did, scenes of life, and they're just, and the idea this here, he's making a birdhouse, which is just like killer kick, and so lots of things about him in here, and then more smaller illustrations. And then this is a family tree. It's an oil painting for the Post cover of October 1959. I was only 2 years old when he did this one. I think his work is beautiful, I think his work is just beautiful. So, here's a Bridgman illustration of human design, and you can see it's the muscles of the body. It's shot from the back. He shows basically some people that influenced him. Okay. Adventures of Tom Sawyer here, and look how again, you see the dynamics of the body. I know it's a little bit far away, but he makes sure that the boy is leaning, he's leaning back, and his arm is outstretched and his chin is down. That's what we call dynamic, putting dynamics in your art. And then the way this boy is countering it by leaning forward, his little bottom going out in here, and his little, So I think this is what made Rockwell so wonderful, is his, this is detail from a promotional material for the movie Stagecoach. So just some people having some antics. And then look at this right here. This is Norman Rockwell as actor and a director. Could you have a cuter face? Don't you just want to sculpt or paint that face? It's just darling face. Adorable. And then we have some photographs taken under Rockwell's direction for a barbershop. So you see, artists will take people, models, and then use them to create the feel here. So here he's got the barbershop. Here he's not painting, copying it. He's simply putting the barbershop in here. So here's our violinist here in the background. Here's our other guy. You can't really see this guy down here, but he's up here. I push the book higher, but it's not easy. It's so big. Should have used my other camera. Again, look at this one here, where you've got the guy cut off a little bit, but look at how the girl is standing. So she could have been just standing and talking casually, but her back is arched because he's taller, and then her bust line goes this way and counteracts her bottom, which goes this way, and then the arms come down and the legs are straight, and there's kind of like this bow flow, right? So that just creates a more dynamic picture, and it's super cool. I mean, look at Lincoln here, which is shot not directly like this one. We're almost on the same plane as this person, but here we're underneath looking up, and that gives us that very powerful dynamic. But he's not just standing there. Like, this is more standing. Even this guy has a little bit of a lead, but he's got this angle here. So this is what we talk about, and I'm talk about as a sculptor or as an artist. It's good to try and find ways to give power to your art by really pushing the poses. Here's the first decade. And just very interesting. Just very, very interesting. His portraits here. Here's Boy's Life. I thought this was very interesting because it's just the back half of the boy, but it really does tell a story, doesn't it? About what a boy's life is, and it could actually be a girl's life, you know, it kind of, even though it says boy's life up here, that's kind of cool, Yeah, I love it. I love it. But anyway, so this was their Saturday Evening Post. This was the way Norman Rockwell created stuff. So here, his two friends want to play ball, but unfortunately, he is got to do the duties, take care of his little baby child, sister, not his kid, but his little, and they're teasing him because they're off to play ball, and he's got to do chores, and he's not happy about it. It's pretty cool. And then these are all his Saturday Evening Posts. So you can see why people loved this this artist. This artist had a lot of dynamic, powerful, yet extremely tight. His art is detailed and tight. It's not free, loose, flowing like a Picasso, like a Van Gogh. It's tight, and he probably sketched before, but it's like people, the graphic art. It's kind of graphic art like. So here's a good graphic artist that you might want to look, because it borderlines, doesn't it? It's got a tight graphic art feel. And you'll like this one. Here's a clown reading the paper, and the boy is just so excited to see him, but he's on a break. And to make sure that you've got leads, no matter where you look, the boy, the paper goes to the clown. You look up from the hands, following the airboat up into the head. The flower leads you back to the boy. And that is how it helps you to keep the visual going. So there's all these little tricks in art where you see it. Maybe one time we'll just have me look through a book and I'll share it with you. But I thought you'd enjoy seeing a little snippet of that book. It's an amazing book, as you know, but I promised I would show it to you because many of you love the Norman Rockwell stuff, and I wanted you to be able to see it. So Jacob says, do you remember when Donna Erickson had her own TV show called Donna's Day? Kermit was on there. I think it was Jim Henson production TV show. Did you work on it? No, I did not work on that. But I think that was kind of an early show. And Jim, that was kind of, if I remember what I do remember from it, and I could be wrong, but I think that's how Jim, that's how he was kind of first introducing Kermit. So that's kind of cool. Thank you so much for showing the book. It's amazing, isn't it? And it's got, you saw how thick it is. It's like Norman Rockwell's whole life in a book. And then I had forgotten, it shows you how long. So thank you for asking me to pull it out. I had forgotten it was signed. Wow. Yeah. Ooh. It's lovely. And it was great to look at that. I'm going to look at it. It would be great to sit in a big wingback chair. Ooh, I have one right here, my wingback chair. And it would be great to sit in the wingback chair, put my feet up, and just flip through the pages and study because one of the things about Norman Rockwell that I loved is his ability to create energy in his work. It's not just someone, but there's energy, there's power. And that's what I want in my sculptures. I want them to look like they're alive, and just you clicked a snapshot. So that's what I work to strive for. And I think that's what my stuff is known for. Many will say it looks like it's that character as opposed to a sculpture of that character. And that's a real touching thing to say. The title of the book, Jacob, is called Norman Rockwell, Artist and Illustrator by, I think it's Buechner, Buechner. Buechner. Buechner, and it's by Abrams. It was done in, what did I say? Did I say 1979 in my head? Okay, let me look again, and I'll tell you. In case you want to see if you can hunt one of these down. It's not impossible. 1970, this baby was done. I bought it at, I love bookstores. Okay. So in order to keep my wallet, I don't go into them. I go into them, I can't get out for less than $100 because I love books. And they're everywhere. And all you have to do to make me go gaga is say it's a first edition. And it's an art book, first edition. It is my Achilles heel. I love books and I love first edition books. I figure if you're going to spend some money, why not get something extra special? So, yeah, I love them. I love them. See, I knew that's what you were asking, Jacob. How many people put huge books on coffee tables? I know, right? If you put every coffee table book on your coffee table, the coffee table would have to be 12 plus long and made out of steel or something, right? Because they are seriously, seriously heavy. Do you ever see Alfred Hitchcock's Rope? It's one of my favorite films. It's pretty dull-ish acting-wise, but it's one continuous camera move. He tries to do continuous camera move without cutting, so it's very cool to watch. But there's a series of books that his housekeeper carries, and I always think it's like a ton of coffee table books. So yeah, absolutely. So, well, guys, we're at the 2-hour mark, and I am going to bid you all adieu. But let me show you where you can go for a couple of things. Patreon.com, Terri Hardin, for as little as $5 a month, $60 a year. You can be part of Terri's tribe. Your voice should be heard and your heart should be felt. So I hope you come and join us. We have a Zoom call every Wednesday where we actually speak. And then Monday and Friday, before I come and join you here, I join them privately on that page. Also, I want to show you TerriHardin.com is the website. Go there, tap the event schedule, and click on Pumpkin Clash and join. Don't wait, because 30 spots will fill up quickly. But, you know, I'm excited, and I hope you will join me live. We can, and, you know, and if you want to watch, the virtual one is fine. If you all turned out and said, I don't want to sculpt, I just want to watch, then I'll do a demo. So maybe I'll sculpt baby. But there you go. And what else did I want to share with you? I think that was it, right? I just wanted to share that with you. And I think that was everything that I wanted to share with you. Was I wanted you to be able to see my website. You can write to me, Terri@terrihardin.com. So there's a few things for you as we work our way out. Everybody is now saying, have a good weekend. Deanna always wraps it up with have a good weekend. So do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel so much better. And just like Jacob did, if you have a question about an artist and I can help you, my favorite artist on the planet is Michelangelo. So I have a lot of Michelangelo stuff. But if you want to see a particular book or something, or you say, hey, do you have a Disney book you like? Can you show it to us? And I can get to it, Jacob, then I'm more than happy to do that. And all of you, I love you guys. My heart's to you. We'll see you Monday. Be well. Share with your friends. Tell everybody about the class after you've joined first. Okay? All right. I love you a bunch.